In a scenario involving a 1200 amp 480/277 volt main distribution system with a 600 amp disconnect that lacks a neutral connection, the question arises whether a neutral conductor is necessary for a distribution panel that exclusively feeds motor loads, none of which require a grounded conductor. According to the National Electrical Code, specifically Article 430.122a, a neutral conductor is not mandatory for circuits supplying solely motor loads provided certain stipulations are satisfied. These stipulations are: firstly, the circuit must originate from a three-phase, four-wire system that includes a grounded neutral. This configuration ensures that a ground reference is present within the broader electrical system, even if the individual motor circuits do not directly utilize it. Secondly, the circuit must possess an impedance level that effectively restricts ground fault current. This limitation is critical to preventing overcurrent trips that can result from unintended ground faults. Adequate impedance ensures that any ground fault current is low enough not to activate the overcurrent protective devices unnecessarily. Thirdly, the circuit should not be susceptible to transient overvoltages or harmonics. These electrical disturbances can induce ground faults if not properly mitigated. Harmonics, which are multiples of the fundamental frequency, and transient overvoltages, such as those caused by switching events or lightning strikes, can create voltage imbalances that lead to ground faults. If the circuit adheres to these three conditions, it is not obligatory to include a neutral conductor in the distribution panel that feeds the motor loads. This exception in the NEC is designed to accommodate situations where motor loads do not inherently require a neutral conductor for their operation. Motors typically rely on the three-phase power supply to operate, and their internal configurations do not necessarily need a neutral connection. However, it is essential to meticulously evaluate each condition to ascertain whether the exception genuinely applies. Firstly, verify that the circuit indeed originates from a three-phase, four-wire system with a grounded neutral. This can be confirmed by examining the main distribution panel and tracing the circuit back to its source. The presence of a grounded neutral at the main panel is a prerequisite for this exception to be valid. Secondly, assess the impedance of the circuit to ensure it adequately limits ground fault current. This often entails calculating the impedance of the conductors and any other components in the circuit. The impedance must be high enough to restrict the ground fault current to a level that is below the threshold for triggering overcurrent protective devices. Thirdly, evaluate the susceptibility of the circuit to transient overvoltages and harmonics. This assessment may involve analyzing the electrical environment in which the circuit operates, identifying potential sources of these disturbances, and implementing mitigation measures if necessary. Mitigation strategies could include the use of surge suppressors, harmonic filters, or other power quality improvement devices. If any of these conditions are not met, it is imperative to include a neutral conductor in the distribution panel to ensure proper grounding and safety. In circumstances where a neutral conductor is not required, it is still crucial to maintain a robust grounding system. Grounding provides a low impedance path for fault currents, which helps to protect personnel and equipment from electrical hazards. The grounding system should be designed and installed in accordance with the NEC, particularly Article 250, which covers grounding and bonding requirements. Proper grounding ensures that fault currents can flow safely back to the source, tripping overcurrent protective devices and energizing the circuit in the event of a fault. The absence of a neutral conductor in a motor load distribution panel does not diminish the importance of grounding. Grounding is a fundamental safety measure that should always be implemented, regardless of whether a neutral conductor is present. In addition to grounding, it is essential to adhere to all other applicable requirements of the NEC. The NEC is a comprehensive set of standards that governs the safe installation of electrical systems. Compliance with the NEC is not only a legal requirement in many jurisdictions but also a critical factor in ensuring the safety of personnel and equipment. The NEC covers a wide range of topics, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. It is imperative to consult the NEC and any other applicable codes and standards when designing and installing electrical systems. When working with electrical systems, it is crucial to prioritize safety. Electricity can be dangerous, and improper installation or maintenance can lead to serious injury or death. Only qualified and licensed electricians should perform electrical work. These professionals have the knowledge, skills, and experience necessary to install and maintain electrical systems safely and effectively. Before commencing any electrical work, it is essential to energize the circuit and verify that it is indeed energized. This can be accomplished by using a voltage tester to check for the presence of voltage. Always assume that a circuit is energized until it has been proven otherwise. In addition to energizing the circuit, it is also important to use appropriate personal protective equipment (PPE). PPE includes items such as insulated gloves, safety glasses, and arc-rated clothing. These items help to protect against electrical shock, arc flash, and other electrical hazards. Electrical safety is not merely a matter of compliance with codes and standards. It is a fundamental responsibility that should be taken seriously by everyone who works with or around electricity. By following safe work practices and adhering to the NEC, it is possible to minimize the risks associated with electricity and ensure a safe working environment. Furthermore, it's essential to understand the implications of removing the neutral conductor. While NEC Article 430.122 allows for its omission under specific conditions, there are potential drawbacks to consider. Firstly, without a neutral, there's no direct return path for unbalanced currents. In a perfectly balanced three-phase system, the currents in each phase cancel each other out, resulting in no current flowing through the neutral. However, in real-world scenarios, loads are rarely perfectly balanced. This imbalance can lead to circulating currents and voltage distortions within the system. Secondly, the absence of a neutral can affect the performance of certain types of equipment. Some electronic devices and sensitive loads rely on a stable neutral reference for proper operation. While motor loads typically don't require a neutral, other equipment connected to the same distribution panel might. Thirdly, troubleshooting and fault finding can be more challenging without a neutral conductor. The neutral provides a convenient reference point for measuring voltages and currents, which can be helpful in diagnosing problems. Without it, identifying the source of a fault can be more complex and time-consuming. Before deciding to omit the neutral, it's crucial to carefully consider these potential drawbacks and weigh them against the benefits. In some cases, it might be prudent to include a neutral conductor even if it's not strictly required by the NEC. This can provide added flexibility, improve system performance, and simplify troubleshooting. Moreover, it is paramount to ensure that the grounding system is properly designed and installed. A robust grounding system is essential for safety, regardless of whether a neutral conductor is present. The grounding system provides a low impedance path for fault currents, which helps to protect personnel and equipment from electrical hazards. It also helps to stabilize the voltage and reduce the risk of transit over voltages. The grounding system should be designed in accordance with NEC Article 250, which specifies the requirements for grounding and bonding. This article covers a wide range of topics, including the size and type of grounding conductors, the methods for connecting to ground, and the requirements for grounding electrodes. In addition to the NEC, there may be other applicable codes and standards that must be followed. These could include local built-in codes, utility regulations, and industry-specific standards. It is essential to consult all applicable codes and standards before commencing any electrical work. Another important consideration is the potential for future expansion or modification of the electrical system. If there's a possibility that the distribution panel might be used to supply loads that require a neutral conductor in the future, it might be wise to include a neutral conductor in the initial installation. This can save time and money in the long run by avoiding the need to retrofit a neutral conductor later on. Furthermore, it's crucial to document the electrical system accurately. This includes creating detailed wiring diagrams, labeling all conductors and equipment, and keeping records of all inspections and tests. Accurate documentation can be invaluable for troubleshooting, maintenance, and future modifications. In summary, the decision of whether or not to include a neutral conductor in a motor load distribution panel is not always straightforward. While NEC Article 430.122 provides an exception for certain situations, it's crucial to carefully consider all factors before making a decision. These factors include the specific characteristics of the motor loads, the potential for unbalanced currents, the performance requirements of other equipment, the ease of troubleshooting, the requirements of applicable codes and standards, and the potential for future expansion. By carefully weighing these factors and consulting with qualified electrical professionals, it is possible to make an informed decision that ensures the safety, reliability, and performance of the electrical system. Remember, electrical work should always be performed by qualified and licensed electricians who have the knowledge, skills, and experience necessary to do the job safely and effectively. Safety should always be the top priority when working with electricity.